All right. Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. And I got to tell you, if you told me in the year 2021, Johnny Rod would be live streaming from his home, there's no way I would believe it. And I got to tell you, Johnny Rod is more technical savvy than you would think. He's going to join us today. We're going to talk all about King Cobra. We're going to talk all about Wasp. And we're going to talk about what Johnny's up to right now and all that and more after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody I'd rather waste time with than you. All right, here he is, the man of the hour, Johnny Rod.
What's up, people? All I need's my love machine now.
Now, I got to warn people who might not be that familiar with you, Johnny. You're definitely a high-strung
better, Warren, they better turn the channel off now, man.
Okay. This is so Johnny, listen, I remember the crime detective Johnny Wad from the 70s, but in the 80s, there's Johnny Rod. So Johnny, take me back to 1985, King Cobra Ready to Strike.
Take you back there?
Tell me about it. Tell me how King Cobra starts. Carmine just leaves Ozzy, right?
Well, I don't know, man. When it could see in 1984, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and in 1984, I had been playing in a local band in St. Louis for since I was 15 years old, and so in '84, I got some friends of mine who I had worked with in those bands had gotten the gigs with Steppenwolf. They were road crew guys, and they happened to be out one night in 1983, and they were looking at magazines, on Hollywood Boulevard, because back then there was no internet, no cell phones, and that kind of crap. So. And they couldn't sleep for certain reasons that I'm not going to mention. Anyway, so and they saw this ad in a musician magazine. It said Carmine Appice wants young, aggressive bass player for a heavy metal band. Must sing great, must play great, must look great, blondes only. That's what it said. And I had already been blonde. I'd been bleaching my hair back in St. Louis. So they called me and they gave me the phone number. I called the phone number the next day and I hooked up with the manager. And they had already chosen a bass player at that point. But I actually talked my way into the audition on the phone. He actually got Carmine to call me back. I was really surprised when Carmine Appice called me. I was about to fall over, man. Carmine Appice. I used to listen to him in the early 70s. So I called him up, and I literally talked my way into the audition on the phone. They let me come out to audition, and I went out to L.A., and I got the gig, man.
Was the bass player they hired before you somebody that went on to do anything?
No.
Okay.
No, they had auditioned about 32 guys, they said, and they settled for the last guy because he played good and he sang good, and that was it. That was the thing. But when I came out there, I jumped up on Carmine's kick drums. He had the double kicks, and I jumped up. He said, "I want you to act like you're in front of 50,000 people." I jumped up on his drums, 1 foot on each side, man. It off the David Lee Roth split. I said, "Let's go!"
Yeah, you definitely bring the life to the show.
No.
And for people who might not be completely familiar with Carmine, I'd be shocked, but he was in Vanilla Fudge. He was wrote one of the most influential drum books of all time. He was on the Ed Sullivan Show spinning drumsticks long before anyone else was.
I saw him on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1968. I was like 11 years old, and I saw Vanilla Fudge on the get that. I saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show, and then I get in a band with them in 1984. What the hell, man? Can you figure that one? Wow.
Yeah, right. And you're right. He co-wrote Hot Legs with Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh,
he did Ozzy with the Bark on the Moon tour and the Bark on the album tour. Carmine's he's a legendary drummer, man. The guy's been around. He's played with how many people? He played with Jeff Beck. Come on, man.
No, absolutely. And I think it wasn't Hot Legs. It was Do You Think I'm Sexy is the one that Carmine wrote with Rod Stewart.
Yeah,
he's fresh out of Ozzy's band at this King Cobra time. And so you come on in, and everyone else was already in place at this point?
Everyone except Mick Sueda. The original guitar player's name was Mike Wolf. Everyone was in place. When I came out, everyone was in place, but Mick wasn't in the band yet. So when I came out and I got the gig, we started rehearsing and doing things, and some things just didn't gel together with certain members. That's what I come to know. And so the manager wanted to replace Mike Wolf with someone else, and he got this guy named Mick Sueda. Mick worked at Tower Records on Sunset Boulevard, man, and he had seen him. And Mick came down to audition, man, and he fit right in, and so he got hired.
Yeah, and much later, Mick would go on to be in the Bullet Boys, and
Right, he was a guitar player for Bullet Boys, original.
yeah, back again. And then David Michael Phillips, also on guitar. He left the band Keel. He was in Keel.
Yes, he was in Ron Keel's band.
Yeah, to join King Cobra. And then your singer was Mark Free at the time.
Yeah, Mark Free, man. I got to tell you, when I first went out there and they handed me a demo tape, when I first got to Carmine's, I had to learn these songs right on the spot to audition. And they gave me the tape, and I heard this guy's voice. I was like, oh my God, listen to this shit, man. This guy was fantastic. God, man, the songs that he sang on, I was just blown away. But I learned those songs right on the spot, man, and kicked ass and did it. You know.
And this record was very popular, still is. Heavy metal fans, are big fans of Ready to Strike. And even more so, the follow-up, Thrill of a Lifetime from 1986. And I think what makes that record stand out so much is the Iron Eagle soundtrack. We did the theme song for the Iron Eagle movie, the first one. But see what happened, I believe, on that album is we had a lot of record company influence that really got in there, and they were trying to make us sound like Jefferson Starship, and so we had a lot of outside people fucking with it, man. And really, and personally, I think that if you could hear, Jason, if you could hear the actual demo tapes we made for that album and then you listen to the album, it's like the demos were mostly guitar. There was hardly any keyboards, very little. And these people came in and they just messed around with it, man. They thought they were going to turn us into Jefferson Starship, and that ain't happening. You make a great point. A lot of keyboards introduced at the time, and they probably thought this is the way that
Well, in 1986, all that shit was I'm talking about if you were around then, and so they fucked with it, and they added all this, they added all that, and they just kind of, I don't know, man. It just to me, if you heard the demo tapes, you'd know what I'm saying. If you heard the actual songs we recorded for the album, just as a demo before we went to the studio,
So record comes out. That song "Never Say Die" becomes the theme to the movie Iron Eagle. Who knew this many years later this would be a cult movie, and you would always be tied in with it.
Well, I am sorry. Well, that's okay, though, man. Hey, whenever it gets played anywhere, I make money. So go ahead and play it all around the world.
Well, it's like you watch these TV shows, Cobra Kai, and Johnny Lawrence's favorite movie is Iron Eagle, and he can't stop watching it. So
Now, it was fun. We did the video. We did the video for 2 days. We filmed with Lou Gossett Jr. The actor Lou Gossett Jr. He was in the video with us, and that was fun. And Jason Gedrick from the movie, and who else? Ron Palillo. He was on a program called. His name was Horseshack. He was on Welcome Back, Kotter in the 70s. Ron Palillo was in the video with us.
No.
Yeah.
How bizarre. What an odd cast. I had no idea he was in there. I got to watch it again.
Yeah, watch it again. You'll see him. And he's very short cameo, but he's in there.
Yeah. So it's 1986. At this point, you're going to join Wasp.
Yeah. What happened there was after the tour we did in '86, and we did on the Thrill of a Lifetime album. Capitol was decided to drop us. They were going to drop us as up the record deal. So, and it just so happens at the end of that tour, we were touring. King Cobra was touring with Wasp and Ted Nugent throughout Texas, and I didn't know it at the time, but Blackie was thinking about changing back to guitar and getting a bass player. So he was watching me every night, and I didn't know it. And so after that tour, I got home. Chris Holmes called me a couple weeks later, and he was pretty drunk at that time, and I couldn't understand him.
That could be any time.
Well, that was then. He's not now, but he called me and he said, "Would I be interested in talking to Blackie about playing in a band?" And King Cobra was being dropped right at that time, and so I didn't say anything. I just went ahead and went up and talked to him at the studio, went to Pasha Studios, talked to him about what was going on, and he told me they were recording the Inside the Electric Circus album, and I was sitting in the studio, and he goes, "Hey, the song I Don't Need No Doctor?" And I looked at him and I went, "I've been playing that since 1971, man. Humble Pie, Rockin' a Fillmore album. That's one of my favorite live albums." He said, would you mind playing on it? And I go, "Sure, no problem. Turn it on." So I pick up the bass in the studio, turn it on. I started playing it, Jason. And I just came in, started playing a song, and it was just going on. He was just looking at me like, "Damn, man, how you know this?" And because they call me One Take Johnny in the studio. And I get it right usually the first time. And so I played it, and it came in the middle part, man. There's a part where it plays, the original song goes to a G, on this one guitar riff, and they played an F sharp, and I'm playing along, and I played the G, and I heard the F sharp was wrong, but I just kept on going. And at the end of the song, he just stopped. He said, "Wow!" And that version is still on the album today.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
the G, the wrong note. I played. They played F sharp, played the G, and left it on. I laughed my ass off. But
yeah, it's still there.
And then I went to an audition with him a week later in the rehearsal studio, and I got the I walked in and I sang it with Black. I just did it perfect, and I was in, man. 86.
Did Blackie play any bass on this record? He wanted you to do it all.
On the Inside the Electric Circus album, I think he played on a couple. I'm not sure a couple songs, but I played on a majority of it.
Yeah, and you probably were coming in when he was working on it and trying to figure out what he was going to do.
Right. But he switched to guitar.
Yeah, and so the lineup at this time, obviously Chris Holmes, who we mentioned, and Steve Riley playing drums at the album, who later goes on to LA Guns, actually leaves Wasp at one point for LA Guns. Johnny, I've got to tell you, heavy metal fans are passionate about their music, but Wasp is one of those bands that are people hardcore about. And they really, this is so important to them in these times and these records. And so it must have been crazy for you. What was it like going on the road with Wasp?
Well, the first tour, I was out of my mind. Me and Chris, because, Chris was pretty bad at that time, and so was I. And the first tour, we roomed together, so you can imagine what that was like.
Wow.
You don't want to know. But, man, it was the first tour I did with them was we were opening for Iron Maiden. We did the Somewhere in Time tour. In 86, we were on tour with them in Europe and over there, and it was nuts, man. For 3 months, we almost got arrested at the end of the tour, flying from Rome to London.
What happened?
Yeah, because we landed, and the cops were waiting to arrest us all because we were out of our minds on the plane.
Okay.
But in those days, in '86, you could do all kind of crazy shit. Nobody said nothing, but the cops were waiting for us in Gatwick Airport, man. Oh boy. Nah, it was pretty wild, man. But I had it was like, man, I love what I was doing. I just love playing in front of the crowds. I love playing music, And,
yeah. Johnny, I got to tell you, you and Chris Holmes rooming together on an Iron Maiden tour. It's a miracle. It's a miracle you guys are alive.
It's a miracle for other reasons too, believe me. Yeah. But, man, we survived it, and, by the grace of God, I survived it. And, and I can go on and do what we're doing today, man. But Jason, I could tell you hours. I could sit for hours and tell you stories, man. It's outrageous.
Well, I got to tell you, Johnny, what I enjoy about talking to you is that you don't do a lot of these. You've sort of been under the radar. And so I know that people are excited to hear from you. But I also know that you've got...
That's my fan club.
Yeah, no, you got...
Fan club of one. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm glad you had the fan club, Johnny, because I said there's no way that you were going to figure this out without some help. And they did a good job,
Well... My man, it's just like, it's the way I always say, man. It's like the difference between me and someone else. I got paid for what I love to do. Okay. And when you love your job, you never work a day in your life, man, And I've been playing for 54 years now, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, it is, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, really something. And so great that you're able to still do it because, obviously not everyone can.
Man, I go out and run 2, 3, 4 miles a day, man. I ride my bike. Man, I exercise. I got to, man, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And
yeah, well, I guess you look great.
Man, I feel pretty good, man. Except for my eyes, I got glaucoma, so I'm legally blind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I see everything, but it's not real good. But healthy, my health wise is fantastic, Except for I ain't saying.
Yeah, well, you still got and you're still full of energy. We're jumping ahead now. This is
growing old is inevitable, man. Growing up is an option.
Yeah. Sure. This is 1989. We're looking at the Headless Children album.
There it is. That's my favorite album.
So it took a few years in between albums to get this one out. Steve Riley leaves. Frankie Banali comes in. Tell me a little bit about what
Steve Riley left after we put out the live album, and we actually didn't have a drummer until late in '88 before we did the album because we did. We had a drummer that we did Donington with in '87, and then we didn't play until we wrote the album throughout '88. Me, Chris, and Blackie, we sat in Blackie's garage for months writing this album, and we didn't even have a drummer. And when we finished writing it, Blackie, I don't know how he got a hold of Frank Banelli somehow. and Frank agreed to to do the album. And he didn't agreed about the tour yet, but he agreed to do the album. So he learned it. We went and recorded it, and after we did the album, then he decided he was going to do the tour with us also, which was fantastic because him and I, man, we had that rhythm section was a motherfucker, man. Talk about balls, power, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Frankie Banali passed away recently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got to see him. I see Frank a few months before he died because he had come through St. Louis, and I was there. I happened to be in town, and I went to the place where he was playing, and I got to say and hug him and pray with him and talk to him, man. And that was a special thing for me.
Yeah, it's really great that you were able to have that moment with him.
It was. I was really fortunate, man. I was thankful, very thankful.
Yeah, so you guys go out on the road for this. At this point, the only change, you still got Chris Holmes, you still got Blackie, obviously playing guitar, you're playing bass, and MTV is playing. They're playing this.
The Real Me.
The Real Me is playing on MTV. It's on the Headbang.
You know where that was recorded? That was recorded in the same downtown warehouse in downtown LA as Metallica. When they filmed their video One. Mm-hmm. That's the exact same warehouse in downtown LA, except they were over in the corner. We set up in the middle of the room, and they put the camera in the back of a Volkswagen Rabbit with the convertible with the top down, and they drove around us in circles with the camera.
Wow.
That's what they did, man.
Yeah, it's cool that this downtown warehouse has got some legendary history.
Yeah, Metallica was there, man. We were there, I remember that. And Lita was there that day because she was married to Chris at that time, Lita Ford, and she was there at the video shoot, and there was some other people there.
Yeah.
I won't mention.
I can only imagine.
I could only imagine. Anyway.
Tell me what working with Blackie Lawless is like, because he's obviously a personality.
Yeah. Was it like working with him? Well, man, I mean, the guy is very knowledgeable about recording, and he's a fantastic songwriter and lyric writer, But he made a couple remarks one time about the bass is the tool of ignorance, and it didn't bother me because I know what. Wait, I got cue cards I got to read, Jason. No. Anyway, so no, it didn't bother me because I know better. What happened was when I got me in the band, they actually got a legitimate bass player because when Blackie played, he really didn't. He told me, he said he really didn't worry about too much about playing the right things. He just hit the bass because he was more into fronting the band and singing. But I've had a lot of fans over the years go, I can't believe Blackie Lawless said blah, blah. I say, who cares, man? Don't worry about it, man. Let it go. It ain't the tool of ignorance. I know what the bass is, But as far as he's a great songwriter and great lyric writer, man. He is, and sometimes he gets, his personality is overwhelming or whatever it is. But hey, man, we all got our things,
Yeah, I mean, and when you joined the band, they're already an established thing. He's got his brand, sort of together. And
one of the main reasons he told me that one of the main reasons why he hired me because I could sing. Because if you notice a lot of things, people don't know this. Live, when we played live, I sang as much as him. He would sing a few lines, I'd sing a few lines the whole time, going back and forth because it's hard to sing like that 5-6 nights a week for 6 or 8 months, and your voice. So if you realize that, I sang as much as him when we played live.
I've heard a lot of people say that they thought that you guys were using tracks.
No,
but it was really you. It was really your voice.
It was me.
Yeah, and I think
we never ever used any vocal tracks when I was in the band. Maybe he did it. I know he did it afterwards because I had people tell me who was in the band later on that they were doing that, but not when I was in that band. Oh.
Yeah, if you watch some of the old videos with you, you'll see it. You'll see it, and you'll hear your voice. And I've heard you sing these parts. And he probably.
Yeah. Here's a good one that sound like him. I want to be somebody soon. How's that?
Yeah,
Close.
that would prove it. And I think that when you were gone, finding someone who can do both is not always the easiest thing. So maybe you rely on tracks. And so
that's fine. I ain't mad at you, but I personally, I think rock and roll is meant to be live. I understand sound effects and certain things, but when it gets to the point where you're totally relying the whole damn show on them, well, wait a minute, man. That's my opinion, but I come from old school. I mean, I was listening to, in the late 60s songs. My favorite era of music is actually like 65 to about 78, and that's the truth.
Yeah, well, there's some amazing music at that time.
It was a great experimental time, and you didn't have to fit the mold and be top 40 and blah blah blah. You experiment. Everybody had when you heard a band, it was unique. You knew who it was, man. You knew who they were.
We're talking about hearing your voice. Here's live in the Raw, which we talked about for a minute.
Yeah, that was recorded at Long Beach Arena, man.
And you were talking about hearing. You can hear you all over this record.
I hear myself all over every time I listen to it.
Yeah, and there's only, I think there's 2 Wasp albums. Maybe they made a later lot. I mean, talking about live records, So at the time, people were really into this one. And like you said, Steve Riley's still on this record. This is before he leaves.
Yeah, Riley's on there, and Steve's singing too.
That's an interesting thing that I didn't realize how much he sang. Yeah,
he sang. He sang harmony. Him and I did a lot of harmony parts behind Blackie. Yeah, me and Steve.
Yeah, and there's big vocals in Wasp songs. Obviously, the hook, are these big gang vocals. So yeah, you better be able to do it. Yeah. So what goes wrong with Wasp? Why did it end for you?
Oh man, there's there's a lot of stories swirling around. People say this, people say that, people say this, but it was a time in my life when it was time for me to step back for a while because of all the craziness and the things that were going on in my life. And, I was married. My daughter was like 5 years old then. And it just, I just couldn't do it for me. I'd been playing music for so long. I've been playing in a band since I was 10 years old. Been playing live since I was in front of people since I was 15 years old. And it was like, and I was into a lot of, and I was getting into the drugs and all kind of crazy shit that a lot of people do, and I needed to back away, man. So I just had to step out for a while. I had to.
Yeah. So you left.
Yeah.
And what?
At the end of the Crimson Idol tour, yeah.
And so what? You're right. That's right. You did do that tour. And so tell me, what happens in the next years? What is Johnny Rod doing?
Oh, I moved to Pittsburgh, man. My first wife, my daughter, and I got several regular jobs. I learned I was an electrician, but I was a paramedic for 3.5 years.
Wow, I had no idea.
I know. That's what I tell people. Can you imagine calling an ambulance and I show up?
Yeah. Somebody get me a doctor.
And I was really good, man. I was good at it. I went to school for 9.5 months to be a paramedic. Yeah, I was on an ambulance.
you and David Lee Roth.
I know. I heard that. When I heard that David Lee Roth was a paramedic too, I said, "Wow, imagine that, man! Wow." So you were doing that in Pittsburgh? Yeah. So you probably some Wasp fan has no idea that you probably saved their life. Well, there was some people who because I had my hair long, I just put it up under my hat. I didn't cut it off, and I had to put it under my hat. And like the song says, and the sign said, "Long-haired freaky people need not apply." So. No, there were some people who I talked to about it, and they just thought it was fantastic, But life goes on, man, So tell me what else, because there's a lot of years before King Cobra resurfaces that we know that you're back. So tell me what else is happening in that time. Well, nothing, man. And then in 2000, I moved out of Pittsburgh in 2000. I was going back. Things happened in my family, and I got married again, and I did different odd jobs here, and I worked as different jobs. I worked as bricklayer, man, concrete, electrician. I worked union electrician. I did a lot of things for a number of years. And then in 2000, for that decade, the first decade of 2000, and then when Carmine and them contacted me in 2010 and said, "We're going to do a new King Cobra thing," I said, "Hey, let's go." I was ready, and we did it, man. And then it went from there, Did you miss it in that time? Were you thinking about playing again? I always missed it, man, because music is it's like breathing to me. I've loved music since I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964, and I knew that's what I wanted to do then. But, I've always missed it, but I'll always play it. And now, it's like now that I'm a little older, I got a lot more time to do it, more freedom. Yeah. Well, so. 2010, I'm living here in Las Vegas still. That's when I moved there, 2010, yeah. Yeah, and I've got the band, the Sin City Sinners, that I manage, and you guys are coming out. Yeah, I remember that. And it's and Paul Shortino is a dear friend, and he'll be on the show next. Yeah, he'll be on the show next week. And so you guys have the idea, I see it happening slowly, of putting King Cobra back together. So we have to address it, though. The original singer of King Cobra, Mark Free, he said that he had suffered from gender dysphoria. I want to make sure I say it right.
through his life. And and I'll get to what you think on it. And in 1993, he became Marcy free.
Yeah.
You tell me about it.
I tell you, but I didn't know anything about it, man, for a long time because I wasn't in contact with him. But I really don't. I don't comment on that too much, and the reason why is this: I don't want. First of all, when people think I'm judgmental, and I'm not because I'm not. I don't judge people because I'm not the guy you got to answer to. Okay, number one, and so whatever anybody wants to do, it's their body, it's their life, it's their thing. See, and so I'm not going to make a remark because it really doesn't matter what I think. In the end, it matters if they are happy, and if they're happy, and that's what they want to do. That's fine. I don't judge it one way or the other. I know that he or she. People call themselves he or she. I think sometimes people are confused, but that's just my opinion. He can sing his ass off. He still sings like a motherfucker, man. He can still sing.
And so now, she would identify as a she, Marcy.
That's right.
But so you had no idea that this was a thing when you were in the band?
No, because there was never anything that showed it. There was never any sign that saying this, that, the other thing. Mark was just Mark, and he was cool.
Yeah,
and he still is. I call him Mark. If I've talked, I got his number. I've called him several times, but he won't call me back, or she won't call me back. And for whatever reason, I never did anything to her.
You haven't
Can't force people, man. Can't force people.
Yeah. So you haven't spoke at all since she became Marcy.
Well, no, I spoke a couple times in the last 10 or 15 years. Once, but it was 15 or so years ago, and that's it. So that's okay, man. Everybody lives their own life, man. We're all, we're all older now. Let it go. Let the grudges go. Let it all go, man. How old are we now? Come on, man.
I think you're 21. I can't from your energy.
Yeah, man. Why in my mind I'm 21? I feel like I can play like I'm 21, but I'm 63, man.
Was there 63? Amazing. Yeah. Was there ever any consideration of having Marcy free sing for King Cobra?
We tried to get him to come. We tried to get her to come and sing. When we went and did Europe. When we went and did Europe, 5 years ago, we went to the Swedish Festival. Those shows we tried to get him. She wouldn't do it. He said no.
No. And that's a very open-minded approach. This is long before Caitlyn Jenner or this was in mainstream media.
And I'll tell you, if you want to get up there in a dress and sing, I wouldn't even care. I don't care what you wear, man. It's none of my business. You get up there and rock the house. That's all I say. Rock the damn house, man. You can wear a pair of underwear. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Just rock the house.
And so around the time she retired for a bit, and she sings locally and has records at home, but I guess wasn't ready to maybe face those rock crowds again. And so you guys are looking for a singer, and you find the great Paul Shortino,
man.
Yeah,
Paul kicks ass. He's got some balls when he sings.
Yeah, Paul, has from the band Rough Cut, and then of course he's Duke Fame and Spinal Tap. Everybody,
I know it was him. I know we always laughed about that with him. We made fun of it all the time, man.
Yeah, and so you guys are getting this back together. So you got Carmine. Yeah. You got Paul.
We got Dave. We got Dave. We got Paul, Carmine, and me, and then we got Dave. And Mick did play on the first album, but he didn't want to do any shows. And then second album, he was gonna come out and play shows with us, and he decided later on not to do it. So he's in the picture here, but whatever, man. It's like I said, you can't force people. It's like, come on, man. We should do this. It'll be fun. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and so here we are, and so you made 2 albums. We should point that out. This was not just like hey, we'll go play a few shows.
Oh no, we recorded 2 CDs, man, and then we also put out a live album. After that Swedish show.
Yeah, and so 2011, King Cobra, self-titled again, and then
there we are. I'm looking at it. Oh, look. That's at Carmine's house up in the valley.
Nice, yeah. And then in 2013, King Cobra II. And and then the live record as well. So
what's funny about that live album is when we played live, we actually did a little piece of Wild Child that I used to sing in Wasp. I did a verse of the chorus. We did Wild Child live in front of the Swedish, and they had a whole crowd singing, man.
I'm sure they go nuts.
I had them all singing, "I'm a wild child, come and love me."
Yeah, people at home are excited to hear it. I got to say, one of the funniest things or coolest things on King Cobra 2, the song "The Ballad of Johnny Rod."
Yeah, that song was originally called, like the chorus says, it was called "Somebody Get the Police," And Dave, I don't know what Dave got the idea to change it to the Ballad of Johnny Rod.
It sounds like those two things might go hand in hand.
They probably did at one time or another, maybe more than one. Hey, man, I did my share of stupid shit, you know.
Yeah, but you live to tell.
Live to tell, man. That's right, man. That's a Madonna song, Live to Tell.
Yeah, you probably think so. Yeah.
I like that song, actually.
So Johnny, you tell me now, what is the future of King Cobra?
Well, Carmine signed a record deal with Cleopatra Records just recently. You know, I know you. Do you know that?
I know briefly, but you tell the audience because they might not know.
I don't know. I don't really know because last night he went and signed a deal with Cleopatra Records, and Dave decided not to do it. And so the only original, well, it's me, Carmine, and Paul. We're going to record the tracks once the Cleopatra comes across with the, with the money or whatever's going on, because they haven't. I don't know what they're doing right now. It's just kind of like in a state of nothing. It's just standstill. Carmine's waiting, but we're going to record the tracks for the album when that happens.
Yeah,
and that, as far as I know, that's all that's going on right now. Nothing else is going on past that. That's all. Yeah. But because I'm doing my project here with Tim here, Tim Ryan.
Yeah, and that's what. And so we'll just leave the King Cobra at. The whole world has been at a standstill, so it's going to take a second. But King Cobra will continue.
Well, we're going to record this. So we're going to record tracks for this CD, and I'm sure it's going to be released. But I don't think it's going to. I'm not sure if it's going to go anywhere past that because, I don't know if Carmine wants to. I haven't talked to him, but right now we're just waiting. We're just like in a state of nothing. We're just waiting. Yeah. And so that's as far as that's gone. And I texted Carmine the other day, and he said nothing happening yet. I go, okay.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a minute for everybody to get back to business. So you're living in Florida, and you're working on music. Tell me about what's happening.
Well, here's Tim. Tim, get in here, man. This is Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan.
Now, Tim.
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say Tim is your lyricist, right?
Yeah, I'm the quiet Beatle.
The quiet Beatle. Hey, he was a dentist, just like Roger Taylor and Queen. He was a dentist.
Nice. Everyone around Johnny is the quiet.
My teeth, man. I now fix these teeth.
Tell me how you guys got together.
Tell him.
Oh, it's very strange. We met in a bar.
It was a bar in Broadway.
I had no idea who he was.
We were in Colorado, man, Colorado Springs.
But I wrote a bunch of lyrics, and I wrote most of them in the psych ward. I just got out.
Wow, no wonder he fits with me. Eh?
I was in there like 4 freaking months. I don't think they're ever gonna fucking let me out.
He's the Ballad of Dwight Fry. He's the real Ballad of Dwight Fry.
So I've been on a pretty wild trip, but the lyrics are really deep and personal.
They are,
and Johnny's making really great songs out of them.
Well, see, it's sort of like Bernie Taupin and Elton John, Jason. It really is. He writes these lyrics, and I've always had a block about lyrics. Man, I can write a couple lines here and there, of words, but I never get stuck. This guy, he writes them. It just comes out of him like water pouring out of something, and he writes these unbelievable lyrics. And I can take them and interpret them and what to see in the music that we're writing together. We just did 6 songs in the last 2 days, man.
Oh, they're fantastic! They're fantastic songs.
Yeah, Tim, were you working on music before? Were you?
No, I've never done anything. And then as soon as I met Johnny, we started writing lyrics.
Well, we were at the Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs. That's where I met him and his wife. And we're sitting there talking, and we were discussing stuff. And we were talking about certain drugs and things like this, and crazy ass shit that goes on in our lives and that. And I said, well, when I used to do this kind of thing, I became unavailable. I said, when I used to get high and do a lot of cocaine and stuff, I was like unavailable to the whole world. And he said, oh my God.
That's a great song.
What a great title for a song, Unavailable. And it just hit him like a ton of bricks. I had just met him, and we started talking. And it turns out I found out how great a writer he is. And so we became friends. This is last, August?
Yeah, I've only been writing for like 16 months.
I'm telling you, Jason, and the lyrics are just it's unbelievable, man. And so he came down to visit, man. And then just in the last 2 days, he pulls up these lyrics, and I put this music. It's like 6 songs in 2 days. It's fantastic. Unbelievable. You'll like them.
And so what is the plan to do with those songs?
We're going to do the Rod Ryan Group, man. Mm-hmm. Rod Ryan Group.
And so Rod Ryan is the new project.
And we're going to be recording in Nashville soon.
Yeah, that's great. So you're moving ahead. And so are you putting a band together around it?
Yeah. Yes. I already got some musicians that will play, but right now it's mostly me and Tim who is doing everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, because in Nashville, there's thousands of people you can get to play if you need it. You know?
Are you going to sing, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm going to sing, and Tim's going to sing too. And it's not going to be where there's one guy is the lead singer. You know what I mean? Is that whoever can sing, whoever does the part the best, they can do it. Like the old school days, man, where the band was the band. You know, like where I come from. You know.
Tim, had you ever heard Wasp before or King Cobra?
No, I have no idea who they are.
Have you listened?
He's finding out, and he's like,
Don't have a clue.
You don't want to know anything about it. I'm kidding.
I think you might be shocked when you see it because, you know, I booked some shows here in Las Vegas where I had Randy Piper and Chris Holmes together, and
Really?
we've had Johnny come out and people go crazy. These Wasp fans are passionate, so you're in for a. You're in for a lot. They used to throw meat in the audience, Tim.
Chop it up.
Yeah, they would chop up bloody meat and throw it into the crowd.
Well, who doesn't do that?
Well, true, but they started it, I think. And
Started it, yeah.
Tipper Gore, the former first
Oh my God.
vice president or whatever, Wasp was very high on her hated list. This band was.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
Yeah, talk about a bunch of hypocrites, man. Don't you love those hypocrites? I love them.
Well, you guys were really Wasp was really a part of that.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but it's like, you know, it's entertainment. When Alice Cooper did it in the early 70s, nobody went crazy. I seen Alice Cooper in 1973 cutting his head off, stabbing babies with swords and all kinds of shit. You know, nobody freaked out then, did they? I don't know.
Well,
they needed an agenda, and you guys fit into the agenda that they wanted.
It ain't brain surgery, man. It's just rock and roll. Ain't brain surgery. Although Tim did some oral surgery.
yeah, I did a lot of surgery.
You know, Tim, you're an example that it's never too late to start something new.
You damn right.
I know. I'm really
right,
surprised. I'm
And
surprised.
especially during a pandemic, this is the time where you follow our dreams and maybe see some new things. And who knows, maybe this Rod Ryan is the next thing for you.
Well, it's going to be big.
Rod Ryan Group. I'm
The
telling
songs
you, man.
are fantastic.
I'm
Johnny's really a
serious,
lot of
Jason.
talent.
Well, man, the lyrics. Because see, what I do is I'll read his lyric. He just writes them. He just writes. It's like he's like Lennon and McCartney type thing, and he writes them. And for some reason, when I read the lyrics, it just inspires me to create a certain atmosphere of music or chording or whatever you want to call it, and it fits. Man, with this last song we did, you know.
I can't even remember the damn song.
God, I can't even remember, man. Son of a bitch. But no,
Marie's song.
Yeah,
a little bit
well,
too much.
It's a little bit too
many.
A little bit too much. A little bit too many, man. And I had this music that I've been holding on to for like a year. I just been fooling around with it. And I read these lyrics. I said, oh my God, this fits it. And I put it to it and it was like, boom, 15 minutes, boom, done.
15 minutes had a song.
Unbelievable.
Do you play guitar around the house, Johnny?
Yeah, I play guitar. I got my guitar right here, man.
Yeah.
I have a guitar, but I don't really play it.
Tim's got an $8,000 Martin. D what?
I don't really play it.
Yeah, he does. He plays old Jethro Tull shit.
I
Man.
suck.
It's all about the passion. Well, listen,
Well, that's right, man. That's right.
everybody.
Right here, man. Look. See, look. Here it is. Here's the guitar.
Nice. That's a stringless model. Listen, everyone got to hear it here first, Johnny. You're giving us a scoop. If this is the next big thing, we learned about it from you. And
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, man. I think everyone's going to be surprised because, you know,
We surprised the record producer. He said, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, I sent it to the producer. I sent just a scratch track, and he wrote back "OMG." The producer, the record producer in Nashville.
yeah. And you know what? I should point out, even if it's not the biggest thing, that's not what music's about. You do it from your heart. You do it because you're passionate about it.
There you go, brother. Man, that's what I've been doing all my life, man. You know, and this is the first time that I've actually. It's not that on my own. I'm doing it with Tim because it's his lyrics, but it's the first time where it was just me and the music and the lyricist, and nobody else involved.
Yeah,
Everything else, I've always been involved with other people all the time, and not that I don't like that. I love it, man. Because see, to me, the camaraderie is what matters. Like you said, the heart, and so, but it's like his lyrics and my music, and it's great.
Yeah, I got to ask you before I let you go, Johnny. Have you ever spoke to Blackie Lawless since you were in the band?
I spoke to him a couple times over the last time I saw him was let me think. Wasp was playing I was in St. Louis. They were playing up in Illinois somewhere, and I think it was I think it might have been 17, 18 years ago, man. And
you guys got along.
huh?
And you guys were cordial?
No, not at all. He came walking he said, "Oh, what's going on? How you doing, man?" And I said, "Oh, I did." He said, "Hey, I got to go out here and do this, and I'll come back in and see you." And he never came back. Yeah. And that's right. Nice, nice, huh?
It seems like that's how he feels about his past with everybody, because I know the other guys too say that.
I know. Hey, man, I don't like to talk bad about somebody, on an interview where they can, but I'm just saying, I just. Whatever, man. That's what I said earlier, Jason, when I said, all these people we're in our 60s now. Let it go, man. Let it go. How old are you? Let it go. Let's just go out and have some fun and enjoy life. It's like, whatever grudges you're holding, God, let them go, man.
Yeah.
What about you call it? Because I'm a born again Christian, and I know about forgiveness, this and that, but I know that there's nothing wrong with playing. If I play rock music and I play "Fuck Like a Beast," it ain't going to keep me out of heaven. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
So the point is, it's like I think he's screwing his fans over by not playing certain songs, because I think he should play them, because that's what put him where he was. That's what the fans want to hear. That's what they love. There's nothing wrong with it. Ain't going to keep you out of heaven,
Absolutely. Tim, you're a lyricist. Are you familiar with the song "Fuck Like a Beast"?
No.
I mean, I'm not trying to give you any creative tips, but maybe give a listen to "Fuck Like a Beast" by Wasp.
The very first line of the song, it says, "I got pictures of naked ladies lying on the bed." That's the first line.
That's maybe a little influence. You never know.
I got pictures of naked ladies lying on the bed. Nice.
Yeah. Well, listen, Shakespeare. It's not
84, man. What are you gonna do?
Hey, people loved it. Listen, I want to thank you guys for joining me, wasting a little time with me. I know you got things to get to.
Yeah, it should be called "Getting Wasted" with Jason Green.
Well, that maybe 20 years ago. This is the new
Jason. This is
the new Jason.
The new and improved Jason Green.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna look out for Johnny. No website or anything yet?
Rod Ryan Group's coming up as soon as Joe,
our
technical agent, gets it together.
Okay, so you're working on a Rod Ryan Group website that people can look for.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm going to link some of your music in the description, so people want to get your Wasp music or they want to get your King Cobra record.
Cool.
Go down below and check it out. I can't imagine there's anyone who's not familiar with this great music, but if they are, well, Tim's not. Tim, watch the video.
He hasn't been around me long enough to know. I'm going to shove it on him pretty soon here, man.
I'm going to send you "Fuck Like a Beast," Tim. I think it'll motivate you. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. And we'll stay in touch. I hope we'll be talking about King Cobra and Rod Ryan Group.
Well, yeah, like I said, man, King Cobra, it's like we're just waiting, and I'm going to record the bass tracks and shit like that. So, hey,
Absolutely.
I can do. All right, man. So you got my number. And I want, I thought the fans say thanks for listening, man. And check it out. Check out Rod Ryan Group, man.